Welcome to this video. In this video, what I'm going to be talking to you about is the reason that you don't need to be special in order to start your own business. A lot of people are thinking about quitting their jobs. They're thinking about starting a business because they want more freedom. Perhaps you've seen this life for yourself where you want to travel more, you want to have more time with your partner, your girlfriend, husband, wife, whoever it is, and you want to have that quality time with them. You want to earn more money. You want to create that success and independence for yourself. But you realize, or you feel deep down at your core, you feel like you're not that business owner type. You're not that special kind of person, like Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Oprah Winfrey, Sarah Blakely, these people who are huge leaders in the area of business, entrepreneurship, and without a doubt, a shadow of a doubt, they've made a huge impact across the world in what they do. But what happens is we start to feel like that we have to be that kind of person. We have to be that special kind of person in order to succeed with your own business. And I want to bust that wide open. I want to crush that in this video. And I want to instill that belief in yourself that you don't have to be special. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, whatever your circumstances, you can start in business for yourself and you can make a huge success of it as well. And that life of freedom, independence, more money, more fulfillment, more time to do what you want to do, you can create that for yourself. All right. Now, when I was growing up, social media wasn't always around. I'm sure that was the case for you. Social media wasn't always a thing. And I remember in my family, I didn't know entrepreneurs. I didn't know anybody who owned a business. And I didn't know any of my friends or anybody around me in my circle in my life. Nobody was a business owner. Nobody was an entrepreneur. And I always felt, or I always perceived that people who were business owners, they were some kind of mysterious group of people. You always heard about them, but you never saw them. Maybe it was a rumor from somebody else that they'd met an entrepreneur, they'd met a successful business owner. And they were this mysterious, ethereal group that we never understood, we never knew personally, but we always heard about them. But over time, look what came in. Social media came in, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. What suddenly happened when social media came about? Well, these entrepreneurs, these business owners started to showcase their life for us to easily see. Like before, you'd have to see them in magazines or newspapers, read about them in books. But then with social media, you could get a live, close-up glimpse in their life, what they're doing every single day, live, and it was open for you to see. What happened as a result of that is being an entrepreneur, being a business owner started to become more definitely attractive because people saw that lifestyle and they went, wow, I want some of that. It felt more possible for people. They could actually see that there was a way that they could do that for themselves. So it definitely became more possible for people. It gained more attention because that lifestyle we enjoy watching that. We enjoy people seeing them succeed in what they were doing. So it became more accessible. It gathered more attention. It became possible for people and was very, very attractive for people to watch that. People now more than ever moved into starting their own business because of that reason, because of social media. That's what I feel anyway. But then there's still that group of people who are going, well, I don't feel like that type of person. I don't feel the business owner type of person. Where does that come from? That comes from your conditioning through your whole life by your parents. You've been told, think about all the time they're telling you, don't do that, don't say that, no, you can't do that, no, you can't say that. So this whole time they're telling you, can't do it, can't do it, can't do it, can't do it. So when we grow up and we want to do something for ourselves, what kicks in? You can't do it, you can't do it, you can't do it. Right? So that's what happens in there. So you're conditioning, remember at school, anytime that you got something wrong or you made a mistake, there was a big fat red cross on your paperwork, or you got told off, you got shouted at, you were made to feel stupid. So you think about starting your own business and you go, oh my God, what if it goes wrong? What if I make a mistake? What if I fail? And you think that you have to be perfect to make a business work. So it's that conditioning that stops you taking action. It's that conditioning that stops you getting started with your own business. But what I want you to realize is that none of that doesn't matter. It's your past, and it does not have to be what you want it does not have to be your future. You don't need a lot of money to start. It's easy to think that you may need, hundreds and thousands or tens of thousands of pounds, dollars to get started in business, but you don't need that at all. And in fact, when I started for myself to register my business, all I had was an idea. I knew who I wanted to help, but all I spent was £30 to register my business on the government website. And it took me about half an hour. So to actually get started in a business, to make it official, you don't need loads of money. You don't need loads of money. You can do it with what you're currently earning, what you're currently in your job, in your corporate position, whatever your role, you can get started from that, whatever that income is. You don't need to quit your job early. In fact, there's no nobility in quitting your job early to start a business. And actually, you probably cause yourself more harm than good doing that. You can build a business on the side, you can build it up in the background, and then get yourself a position where your income matches your business income, matches your job income, and then you can make that transition. You can make that switch very smoothly then when you've got that consistent income happening on the side with your business. Then you can be in a position to quit your job. You definitely don't need a huge network. A lot of people think they've got to know a lot of people. It's not what you do, but who you know. To grow your business, yes, you'll need a network further down the line, but you don't need a network to start. In fact, you can start without a network, build that up, and start making those business relationships. Many people start from scratch. Many people start from absolutely nothing. And you can do that same thing for yourself. You don't have to have a big network. I didn't have a huge network. Why? Because all the people I knew were only the people that I worked with. My friends, my family, and the people that I worked with. That was my network. That was it. But what happened is I started learning, I started educating myself, going to seminars, going to business events. I started to build up more friendships. I started to build up more relationships with people. And many of those people I do 6, nearly 7 years later down the line, I'm now doing business with some of those people. Right? And it's the same for you. So you can go out networking, you can go and meet new people, build up that network, and you will find in years' time, you'll be doing business with them and you'll be earning money together with them at the same time. Happy days, right? That's the power. You can build your network from scratch. You definitely don't need to have a super genius idea. You don't need to come up with the next Facebook. You don't need to be able to send people into outer space via a rocket ship. You don't need to do any of that. Yeah, look, I respect those ideas fully. I respect those people who are doing that and achieving those things. It's amazing. I respect people who come up with ideas that revolutionize the way that we behave every single day, that revolutionize the way we go about our daily lives. I respect that so much. But you don't have to come up with that next super genius idea. All you've got to think about is there are people out there with a problem. They don't know how to solve it. They're struggling every day with this problem. They just want to get rid of that problem. And what will happen is they will find a solution, the solution that you'll bring to them, and they will be willing to pay you for that solution. Why? Because it solves their problem. It adds massive value to their life. So you don't need this big super genius idea. All you need is just the willingness and the ability to solve people's problems. That's it. Maybe you're one of those types and you're thinking that you have to be really good at being able to sell to people. You have to have the gift of the gab. You have to be a really good talker. You have to know how to persuade people, convince people. Again, when I started, I was terrible with selling. I hated it. I was terrified of it. I would avoid it at all costs. I didn't want to do it. But even with that fear and even with that avoiding selling at all costs and the reluctance to make offers to people and ask them for money, I was still able to replace my job salary when I went into business full time. In that first year, I was able to replace my corporate salary. And I had this I was terrified, petrified of selling. So that goes to show to you that it's possible. You don't have to be a master at selling. You don't have to have this gift of the gab. In fact, having the gift of the gab, I've seen, does not determine success. If you're able to listen to people and ask powerful questions to people, then you can make more sales. I'll do another video on that another time and I'll go deeper into that. All you need is just the willingness to learn in this situation. And I got better as I went, I got better and better and better and better at selling. I became more comfortable, I became more willing, actively finding those situations. So you can go on that pathway as well. The last thing I always repeat in my messaging is you don't have to have lots of confidence. You don't need any confidence though. Yeah, in fact, it's just that courage to get started, just accepting, you know what, I am scared, I am worried, I've got a lot of doubts, I've got a lot of anxieties, but I'm going to take that step anyway. And it's that willingness to take that next step, regardless of your fears, regardless of your doubts, to take that next step, because that gives you an experience. It's that when things go well and you start to get some winning actions together, you start to generate some success for yourself, things start to go right, you start creating that experience that gives you the confidence. So you start with courage and then the confidence comes after. Once you've got that confidence, it's going to give you more momentum. Many people wait to start their business because they're just hoping and praying that more confidence is going to land on your lap. It's not. You're going to be waiting a very long time. You don't have to be special. You just have to have the courage to get started, and that will give you an experience, which will give you the confidence, so then you can take more action. So if you have this desire to live life on your terms, to have freedom, to do what you want, to have that independence and be fulfilled, help a lot of people and get rewarded for it financially as well. What I've realized in my own experience, in my own life, like, you've just got to have a willingness and a desire to achieve those things. You've got to have that hunger, but you've also got to have a willingness to want to make a positive impact on the lives of other people. If you've got that willingness and you want to do right by other people, you want to help other people, you want to serve them and do what's best for them, the greatest good for the greatest number of people, then you can start a business. It's for you. And as well, in my own experience, if you can just accept and be a lifelong student, you accept that there are so many things that you need to learn, and if every single day, every single week, you can just commit to your learning, be always willing to learn something new, and always stay open-minded to where you are today, doing what you're doing right now, getting the results that you're getting right now, is not going to be the mindset that gets you to where you want to be in the future with those bigger desires, with those bigger results. So all along the way, you have to be this open-minded, lifelong student to learning new ideas, new strategies, new ways of moving forward and solving the problems that you come up against. So that's why, as I've shared in these videos, you don't have to be special to start a business. You don't have to be this business owner type. You don't need lots of money. You don't need lots of confidence. You don't need the next Facebook idea or whatever it is. You don't need any of that. You just need a willingness to help other people, make a positive impact for them, and that willingness to be able to learn, to be able to stay open-minded, and that hunger and desire to succeed what you want. If you've got those things, then you can create that business. You can get started. Let me know if there's any realizations or takeaways from this video. What was one thing that stood out to you? All I want you to do is just let me know in the comments. In the description, I'll put a link to my free guide that I've got. It takes you through the 18 very, very simple steps, but I have packed it with value, showing you how to start your business and to be able to make sales, because you want to be able to make income so you can quit your job for good. If you go into the description, just click on that and you can download that free guide.